this very, very loving presentation that will certainly go down in the annals of media in Dominica. So we're very grateful that you could join us here. So before we begin, we'd like you to stand as we acknowledge the national anthem of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Standing as we ask Mr. Peter Dominic, the accounts manager, to lead us in prayer.
Do bow your heads and lift your hearts heavenward as we pray. Father God, we give you thanks and praise. First of all, for life. First of all, for your carrying us here safely. We implore your blessings on this ceremony of awarding, of observing, of recognizing individuals for service and duty. And we ask, Lord, that you would bless not only these individuals in terms of their work with long-standing service and duty, but that you would bless them as individuals to be such that would be impactful on lives as well for positivity. And that they as well, receiving such, would be able to make them more determined, more eager to be able to perform in their duties and in helping others as well. May bless our sitting here today, we pray, and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. You may be seated.
We want to acknowledge the presence of the head table, the chairman of the board of directors, Dr. Damian Dublin, and of course the acting general manager of DBS, Mr. Curtis Matthew. But put your hands together for yourselves for being here. If we have to add the years on that side, it's almost 300 years. And if we have to add the years on that side, with the exception of Mr. Dewis, we will probably have another 300 years. So we have many, many years of experience sitting here, and we're very grateful that you could join us, be part of it. Those of us who will join us online on DBS Radio Facebook page, we're happy that you could join us. Without further ado, we'd like to call on to the podium to see if you have some brief remarks, Mr. Curtis Matthew, the acting manager.
Good morning, everyone. Those who are viewing, those who are listening, those who are here this morning, I say welcome. Chairman of the Board of Directors, Dr. Damian Dublin, members of the Board of Directors, awardees, well-wishers, our listeners and viewers, sponsors of the event, one of the sponsors, a good friend, Alvin Anthony of Kubuli Contractors in the United States. By the way, he lost his brother, Kelvin Anthony, in Antigua last night. We sympathize with you, Alvin, and the family. Today, Alvin Anthony is represented by Julian Jeffers, aka bus driver father. He's here with us today. Thank you for coming, Father. Our other sponsors, the Fort Young Hotel, Bullseye Pharmacy, Big Edge Financial Express. My lovely sister is here representing Big Edge Financial Express, Anthony Le Doctorov. Signman is also here, one of the sponsors. thank you very much for supporting this project. My wife, Delia, is also here. Thank you very much, Delia, for leaving your work to be here this morning to support this venture. For me, today is a dream come true. I always wanted to find a way to recognize these men and women who have stayed with DBS Radio over so many years. When I was appointed acting manager in December last year, I realized that an opportunity came to make that dream become a reality. I want to thank you for accepting to be here to receive these awardees. I'm very happy that you took some time off to be here to receive these awards. What I would like to see the awards do is for a culture to emerge in which institutions and business places in Dominica pay more attention to their employees. I hope the awards will also inspire the recipients to continue to take ownership of DBS Radio, especially at a time when social media continues to challenge radio stations in Dominica and abroad. I also hope that these awards will serve as inspiration for our young broadcasters to see hard work and excellence as key for success in the field of broadcasting. I thank all those who work with me to implement the project, particularly the program director at DBS, Ivona John Baptist Luge. I thank Leila Langford for playing a few roles here today. Leila Langford, by the way, is one for the future. Look out for her in the next few years. I think she's somewhere around playing a few roles. So Leila, I want to thank you for leaving the job at DBS to be here playing a few roles. A little later on, she will do the vote of thanks. So sponsors, awardees, all those who played a part in this project, I want to thank you very much. I say congratulations to the awardees, members of the board again. Thank you very much for being around. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you very much. This is a very good initiative, something that will go down in the annals of history. It's always good to recognize the people who have gone the extra mile, because DBS Radio is an iconic part of everything that we do in Dominica, not only for media, but who could not understand that when you wake up in the morning, if you don't listen to the DBS morning news, you have not heard it yet, especially when you almost know when Curtis Matthew is going to read the news, and you almost know when it's not Curtis and it's Gavin that come in, and you know when it's Ivona. I've learned it over the years to know how the pauses are going to come, you know, and then so it's very good that you can recognize everybody here today. Somebody who has been around for a while, who have extracted as much as he could from DBS Radio to make sure that we are the nation station, and he has been pushing very hard, a man who believes that also that we need to recognize those who have done the work that we are talking about, even those if his deep passion for African heritage. But he is a man who is chairing the board of the directors of DBS Radio, none other than my good friend Dr. Damian Dublin.
Bonjour tout le monde, good morning all. Recognition, acting manager, Curtis Matthew, Coffee, MC. Thank you everybody for being here. I'm happy that Curtis remarks set the tone, short and sweet. So this morning it's not about me, it's about the awardees. It's always good in any institution or line of work to recognize people's effort, especially when it's genuine, dedicated, and long service. So I'm happy that this is happening. As Curtis said, it has been talked about for some time, and we're happy it's happening right now. The board of directors, we are really elated to see this happening, because that is part of our mandate. From the time I became chair, me and board decided that DBS have so much talent. I mean, when you look across the board and look at the employees and the individual talent, and the way they've been keeping the station together, keeping the people informed, entertained, and educated, we felt that we had to, our role to keep that legacy. So while I'm here, I want to thank all those who played a part in the journey up to this moment, talking about the past chairs, the past managers, members of staff who are not here, some they have died. Can we ever forget Ted Daly? That particular program, Ted had a remarkable memory. Ted could remember every vehicle number. Ted had to say, just call a number and Ted knew it. Everybody bring in their unique style. Who can ever forget Felix Henderson in terms of the curl program, bringing it together. And I'm happy that the reading competition, which was initiated by him and others, bears his name. That was one of the first things we did when I became board, to ensure that the reading competition was named Felix Henderson Reading Competition. So we also, DBS had some long outstanding issues with some staff. Part of our policy is to try to, I'm a solution-oriented person, so we look at problems and we always try to find solution to sort them out as soon as possible. So we have been able to kind of sort out some issues, and we've seen a staff that's gelling, that bringing their talent together, and I really need to applaud acting manager Curtis Matthew, who has done a great job during his tenure. I also need to mention Mr. Joseph, who have been holding the fort for a long time. But DBS has tremendous potential, and as a board, we're going to ensure that that potential is transmitted to service to the public, that we continue to educate, inform, and entertain. And I really need to just slightly mention, although I know he's getting an award for long service, Wadix, who's tremendous role in maintaining the Creole culture, language for all these years. So it's just a special big up. And this kind of talent have to be recognized, as we are doing now, and rewarded. And recognition does a lot of things. When you recognize people, it gives them an impetus to do more. So out of that, I'm sure we're going to have more productivity and better staff relations, and staff realize that what they are doing is important and it's been recognized. So that is all for now, short and sweet, and I want to congratulate all who's going to receive awards today on behalf of the board. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dublin. It's not often you hear dentists talk about short and sweet. So we want to thank our many sponsors, Kubuli Contractors, LLC. We want to thank Big Edge Financial Express, the Signman from Paybush, from Goodwill. And we want to thank Bullseye Pharmacy. We want to thank the Fort Young Hotel for giving us this opportunity to be here. You know I'm going to make you laugh a little bit. So we have to laugh. I know you have to go back to work, but we have to laugh. So we are at this point where we're going to do the presentations. To assist me is Mrs. Ivona John Baptist Lugay. DBS is known for having people in this position with two different names. So we had Sherman Green Brown. Now we have Ivona John Baptist Lugay. So please come forward to give us some assistance, please.
Okay, good morning all. It is time for this big moment where we recognize staff members who have made and who continue to make a significant contribution to not just DBS Radio, but to the broadcasting milieu, and we are happy to do this. The first recipient, Dean Thomas. Dean Thomas came to DBS Radio in 2004 on a 6 months Dominica State College internship program. In 2005, he was back at DBS Radio to start a career as a technician at the national radio station. The Grand Four native, Dean Thomas, who is well loved by the DBS family, has a deep passion for the job. He started as a grade 1 technician when the equipment was of a very much lower standard. His regular visits to the various transmitter sites continues, even in bad weather conditions. Dean, along with other staff members, mourned the loss of former station engineer Kurt Matthew. It was a very painful moment, especially for Dean Thomas. And that was in 2017, after Hurricane Maria. But Dean was determined to help push DBS Radio to higher heights. Over the years, Dean and his teams enhanced the output of the radio station. He transformed the main studio, the Ted Daly studio, to make it more user-friendly. He also changed the aesthetics and equipment in the Felix Henderson studio and the Kurt Matthews studio. Dean Thomas continues to work hard in the area of social media as well. He is a devoted, committed, dedicated, and very, very hard worker. DBS Radio is proud to recognize the station engineer, Dean Thomas.
We all want to apologize for the government officials who are not here because they had another function, but they did give their support and encouragement to what's happening. The next person is Shama Lazar. Shama Lazar. Shama Lazar entered the doors of DBS Radio 25 years ago. The year was 2000. She is a well-suited person because Shama has a knack for bringing in sales to the corporation. She has a mindset that works well with the job that she does. Shama is a sales representative who never gives up on a transaction. She's always determined and has a good rapport with her clients. Experience has shown that there is no sales task too much for Shama, who will go the extra mile once she is called upon. After 25 years at the job, it is fitting to recognize Shama Lazar, who is a very determined sales representative. Shama. Accepted by Avanelle George. Avanelle Japia George, accepted on behalf of Shama Lazar. Put your hands together for one more time.
And it is time to recognize Avanelle George for her dedication and commitment to DBS Radio. Avanelle George brought her strong values of commitment and dedication with her when she entered DBS Radio on the 1st of June 2000. You can quickly do the math. 25 years after, Mrs. George continues to get the job done. The committed sales representative was part of the A-team at the sales department many years ago. We had an A-team back then. Avanelle knows what it is to walk to her clients who are within walking distance, whether they are in an office, a supermarket, on the street, in a clothing department, a store, wherever. DBS Radio is proud to recognize the contribution of Avanelle George.
Our next awardee is Juliana Samson. You notice she was smiling already, right? Because Juliana Samson is a very jovial and warm lady. The Lapland native came to DBS Radio in 2000 and held the position of cashier at the accounts department. Jujul, or Samson as she's affectionately called, moved up to the position of payables officer in 2003, executing her duties with diligence and professionalism. She has acted in the positions of traffic officer, billings officer, and also acted as accountant. To sum it up, Samson is an all-rounder in the department. DBS honors you for your years of service. Juliana Samson.
At this time, we recognize the sales and marketing supervisor, Lynthia Bellot. She is not here at the moment. Kaywana Fontaine Wilson will collect the award on her behalf. The year was 1999, and there was an opening for the position in the sales department at the national broadcaster. A lovely lady from Soufriere sent in her application. She was interviewed, and it was a fait accompli. Lynthia Bellot made her entrance into the doors of DBS Radio, and she knows all too well what dedication to the task at hand means. In fact, Bellot, as she is affectionately called, is a no-nonsense bell pepper, another term that we use to describe her. After the late Felix Henderson retired, she got the position of supervisor of the sales department, the sales and marketing department, to oversee the sales department, the marketing department, and her staff as well. Lynthia Bellot also embraced social media. She gets the job done, as I said. Many years ago, she signed on to host the Power Breakfast on the morning show, always ready to accept a challenge. Lynthia Bellot is a right fit for DBS Radio. Lynthia Bellot has given more than long service to DBS Radio. She has given her friendship to staff and a commitment that should never go unnoticed. We are proud to recognize Lynthia Bellot.
The next awardee. There are some people who are known by so many names. But when a nickname aligns with your profession, or one of them, in the case of Leroy Wadix Charles, this exemplifies who you are. The Creole Master, Lawa Dudis, Kadas, Zouk and Compa Promoter, are just a few names to describe Wadix, who was just recently given the title of Cultural Ambassador. But Wadix, as he is affectionately known, is more than the nicknames. He's a stickler for professionalism, and he puts his all into whatever he is involved in. This Pottersville native came to DBS Radio in 1996, at a time when preparations were in place to set up the World Creole Music Festival. Renowned broadcaster Dennis Joseph, who was the manager of DBS Radio at the time, brought Wadix to the radio station, and Wadix brought a flair that resonated with listeners. From the Kadas Zouk Spectacular, hit-powered Creole, and a Thursday evening soiree back in the day, Wadix was well loved by the people. He has received many awards, including the Meritorious Service Award. His Creole Heartbeat program captures the essence of our cultural heritage to include the music. In fact, there is no Wadix without the music, and no music without the Wadix, and there's no ad that he doesn't say Sakai Malad. DBS Radio Awards Ambassador Leroy Wadix Charles for 29 years of service to the corporation.
Est-ce qu'il est possible pour me dire quelque chose? C'est possible? It would be remiss of me as a broadcaster to receive this award and not say thank you. I've received several awards, including the highest cultural award, the Meritorious Service Award, and recently the ambassador position in Dominica, but this is a very important one. When you're rewarded for years of service, dedicated, exemplary, spending every single weekend of yours is a sacrifice. This is not a job for me, it's a passion. It's one I do tremendous amount of research, and I spent loads of my time to go deep into the cracks and crevices of the Creole culture, because I truly believe we were blessed. I really want to thank Curtis Matthew, I normally call him King Curtis, for in a short tenure to have recognized the work that I have done through this medium and through this journey. The board of directors, the member of staff, I really want to thank you. But it would be remiss of me not to thank the Heavenly Father for the opportunity to be here and to testify every single weekend. It is not for money, but it is for love for people. And those of you who intend on being a broadcaster, you can't be paid for your time and your dedication, but you have to love what you do. And a national broadcaster, you have to love people. People first. It also would be remiss of me if I don't say thank you to Mr. Dennis Joseph, who recognized things in me I never knew I myself had. And thank you when I stepped in this door amongst the household names, the heroes, those I admired. DBS was on a particular level. I am praying to God that we reach back to that particular level, where the aim and objective of national broadcasting is first to educate and inform and entertain last. We have a responsibility to our nation to educate them. We have a responsibility to go down to each and every community, every crack, every crevice of this 289 square mile gem and educate them. If we don't, we are failing our responsibility as national broadcasters. I was very fortunate to have people like Ted Daly, who actually fathered me, and Felix Henderson, who actually also fathered me and taught me to write the Creole language. Extremely, extremely fortunate. Young broadcasters, content is important. Young broadcasters and people intent on being broadcasters, preparation is key. You may be hearing a 15-minute newscast, which may take days and sometimes hours to produce. Perfection is always the key, and that is what I knew when I met people like the late Mikey Bruni, who first introduced me to, and myself, Stephen Dangleben, to outside broadcast. The camaraderie between Curtis, myself, and the late Kurt, I truly miss this brother. And when I heard that Curtis Matthew did not have, and I must say it because it hurts, and it is deep, and I am real, certain qualities, I cried, because we are now seeing the fruits, the manifestation of a man who has given a few months to manifest his creativity. Thank you, Curtis Matthew. Thank you, the board of directors. And lastly, DBS, let us not forget our mandate. It is important. And I really want to big up our Creole announcers for keeping the Creole language alive, because it is what our ancestors left for us. That is the link. And I know Dr. Dublin did not get the opportunity to say it, but our forefathers fought to have that level of communication. They were stolen, butchered, brought to the Caribbean from various parts of Africa, and they used the common language called Creole. That was your calypso was created. So Dominica, do not pas laisser Creole la mort, pas laisser culture la mort, pas laisser calypso mort. Merci beaucoup.
Very strong words and very important words from Leroy, Wadix, Charles, cultural ambassador. Thank you. And it's time to recognize Joan Henderson. Her daughter will accept on her behalf. Joan Henderson's story at DBS Radio is one which epitomizes the determination to move upward. Born as Joan Henderson, but known as Lillian. In fact, I did not know that her real name is Joan, so I always knew her as Lillian. She resides on High Street, just a stone's throw away from DBS Radio. And she started as a cleaner at the radio station in August of 1995. In 2003, Joan received training and took up the position of cashier, a job she continues to perform with pride. Joan Henderson is a people's person who continues to contribute to the development of DBS Radio. We recognize her contributions.
Our next awardee, Ivona John Baptist Lugay, made DBS Radio a second home since 1993. She did not choose radio, radio chose her. Before DBS Radio, she worked at Voice of the Islands for 4 years, a career in broadcasting which spans more than 3 decades. From riding a bicycle to various playing fields to collecting scores for the sports news, to representing Dominica's media liaison office on several occasions, Ivona has a deep passion for broadcasting. Ivona worked on the sports desk and at the same time manned the control boards as an on-air announcer. She later moved on to the news desk, where she served as chief reporter for many years. She has already received several awards for her work at DBS Radio. In 2016, she became program director and continues to host music programs, talking point, discussions, presenting the news and sports, outside broadcasts, and the popular Connecting the Dots on Saturday mornings. Several years ago, DBS Radio integrated social media into its programming and allowed the radio station to reach a larger audience and connect with listeners in new ways. The workload has increased. Ivona Lugay believes that an all-rounded radio personality is a plus for broadcasting. Well, Ivona, DBS recognizes you today for your 32 years of service. Ivona John Baptist Lugay.
I promise to be short, but I can't accept an award, especially from my very good friend Curtis Matthew, and not say a few words. As you heard in my citation, I did not choose radio. Radio chose me. In fact, I was very shy. I started at another radio station and I could not even open my mouth to speak because I was too shy. But I was tutored by Ferdinand Frampton and Ken Richards back then. And when Ken Richards left Voice of the Islands Radio and went to DBS Radio, he took me along with him, and the rest is history. Broadcasting is in my DNA. I just love it. It's what I breathe, it's what I eat, it's what I sleep, broadcasting. And to work in a broadcast milieu, especially back in the day when radio was king, and when we did not create shortcuts back then, we had to do the grind, we had to go through everything. We had to do documentaries and go on farms and go in fields and speak to people. That's what we did as broadcasters back in the day. These days things are easy, or are they? Because sometimes even with less challenges than before, sometimes a lot of us still falter in broadcasting. But for me, as I say, it's what I live. I've grown to know so many people and work with so many broadcasters. When I think of the late Ferdinand Frampton, the late Felix Henderson, Ken Richards, Mikey Bruni, Sherman Green Brown, and so many trailblazers in this industry, I am comforted by the fact that we will continue to push on despite the challenges. A lot has changed, yes, a lot has changed. Back in the day, we were more committed, more dedicated. We still have dedication, we still have commitments by a few, but generally, overall, the workload was a challenging one for us, but we accepted it with pride. So I take this award with great pride. Curtis Matthew, very good initiative. I know very long ago you mentioned this. Of course, I worked with you on the sports desk, and I know you always wanted to recognize staff who have contributed significantly to the development of radio, not just DBS radio, but the radio landscape. Thank you.
Our next awardee, Cecil Joseph, who is the manager of DBS Radio, entered the doors of the corporation in 1990. Cecil Joseph came to DBS Radio with a knack for sales and marketing, and although he was already trained in that area, Cecil had a way of convincing people to do more business with DBS Radio. He became sales and marketing manager and played a major role in bringing in much needed finance to DBS Radio. He also ensured that many businesses created a long-lasting bond with the corporation. He served as shop steward for staff members at DBS Radio for several years. Cecil Joseph is the current manager, a position he has held for many years. His idea to expand the building of DBS Radio to allow for a more comfortable setting for staff members is one of his biggest achievements. He is the main host of the popular Discovery's La Coup program on Sundays from 7 p.m. DBS Radio recognizes Cecil Joseph.
The next awardee, Angelita Williams Dover. Angelita Williams Dover hails from the lovely community of Boetica. She began her career at DBS Radio in July of 1993, when we came together the same year. She started at the sales office. She started as clerk, typist, at a time when typewriters would help get the job done. Working alongside her close colleagues like Iris James, Rosa Carbon, and the late Martha Victor, The DBS sales office, which was located next to the main building on Victoria Street, was a home away from home. She moved on to the position of cashier and billings receivables officer. Mrs. Dover has acted in the position of accountant on several occasions and served as shop steward for many years at DBS Radio. She was very instrumental in the formation of the once vibrant DBS Sports Club, DBS Dream Team we were known as. We became a nightmare after. Angelita Williams Dover, who is the Billings and Receivables Officer, will observe her 32nd anniversary at DBS Radio next month. She is a dedicated and committed member of staff, a true asset to the Dominica Broadcasting Corporation. It is with pleasure that Angelita Williams Dover is recognized for long service. And now it gives me pride and a sense of deep satisfaction to recognize, well, to help recognize Stephen Dangleben. The dapper looking Stephen Dangleben. The year was 1985 and Stephen Dangleben had just left high school. He came in as a Creole announcer and remained in the position for a few years. And Stephen, if I'm going wrong, you'll correct me. I just sat down and wrote them. Radio back then had no competition from social media. After a Caribbean School of Media and Communications program, one-year program in Jamaica, Stephen Dangleben returned to the airwaves of DBS Radio and was assigned to do on-air programming in English. Note that he had started in Creole as a Creole announcer. Dangles, as he is affectionately called, hosted many programs, but it is his style of programming on Good Morning Dominica that made him well loved by the people. He did the morning program for almost 10 years. When Stephen Dangleben started on radio back then, there was no competition, as I said, from social media, and radio was king. Stephen understood his assignment, and he knew what it meant to interact with listeners. His infectious laugh was guaranteed to brighten your day. He worked on the news desk for some time and always exercised professionalism at the job. Stephen Dangleben is currently the production manager at the corporation. He is very much involved in documenting the stories of people who have contributed significantly to the development of Dominica in various fields. DBS Radio is pleased to recognize the contribution of Stephen Dangleben.
Good morning, everybody. Very short but sweet. I just want to say a big thank you to the Almighty God for giving me life this morning and for being here. And I want to say a big thank you to Curtis Matthew for this award. Curtis, thank you very much. You and I have been at DBS for a very long time. I think you came just 1 year after me. I came in 85, you came in 86, so I'm here for 40 years, he's there for 39 years, and we have had a very good working relationship. So I want to thank you very much, Curtis, for making this possible for this award. And I want to thank the members of staff of DBS who have supported me over the years. Everybody who have given me tremendous support, thank you very much. To the board of directors, thank you very much. And to all many listeners, who have interacted with over the years and who have given me tremendous support over the years, thank you very much. I do not know how long I'm going to be here at DBS again. I don't know. But I will do my best to uphold the profession and the level of professionalism and to work for the betterment of the nation station. Wadix, thank you very much for your support over the years, and the many staff members. Thank you very much, everybody. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Well, if you're done with media at any point in time, if you're thinking of that, we have place for you in the clergy because you look like Father Elvio. I couldn't miss that. Now, this next person has revolutionized Creole to the point that people these days, they even doing it in their native language. They exercise in the native language. Because she is sort of a strong personality. She has brought a new energy to DBS Radio. Kaywana's story at DBS Radio is a good example of what coming back home truly means. The Granby native Kaywana entered the doors of DBS Radio in 2000 as a host of Experience Creole. She was supervised by the late Felix Henderson. Kaywana stayed at DBS Radio for 12 years. During that time, she received a few awards, among them Most Improved Announcer and Best Program. After a 12-year stint, Kaywana left DBS Radio to take up residence in Barbados. Upon her return to Dominica, she worked at another radio station. After being away from DBS Radio for 10 years, Kaywana returned to the airwaves in 2022 as head of the language department and host of Experience Creole. The department has organized a successful Creole debate competition and Creole speech competition and has brought in French and Spanish news to the airways of DBS Radio. Experience Creole on DBS Radio is a breath of fresh air. The afternoon program has revolutionized Creole broadcasting with a blend of exciting social media presence that draws in many listeners, particularly young people. DBS Radio recognizes the contribution of Mrs. Kaywana Fontaine Wilson.
Okay, bonjour tout le monde. All right. Merci en pile, merci en chai, merci yolo, comme nous avons toujours dit. I will pause to go into English for now because I know for the few years I've known Curtis Matthew, acting general manager. I've known him as a man of grand mouvement, big movements, flair. But today, Mr. Matthew, this production here, this initiative here shows that you have earned your stripes as a man of grand movement. Job well done, and thank you so much for the initiative, because I look around at staff today and everybody well dressed. Not that we don't get well dressed when we come to work, but everybody looks so happy and content, because we don't work at DBS for the praises or the applauses. But I mean, it comes in very, very handy. It encourages us. It reminds us why we do what we do. And moi, ka continue faire ça pour passion créole. Moi, mes créole plus actuellement, parce n'est pas d'autre temps. Because you see and you hear the engagement as we mix social media and traditional radio. Because radio, as is traditionally, cannot exist on its own. We need the social media, and we have done that at DBS Radio. We are doing this, nous ka fait ça en créole toujours. Et bien, nous ka dit merci au temps, et nous ka changer Felix Henderson, défunt, qui chebela memwe, who held my hand and told me that you have something that you're not seeing in yourself. Because like Ivona said, she was very shy. And even more in Creole, me say what is a parler Creole. I understood, but I couldn't converse in Creole. But I learned over time, and today I proudly say that I say thank you to all those who have contributed to Creole before me, all those who have passed, the late Felix Henderson, your memory live on, people like Wadix who also held my hand, and others who have contributed and inspired me over the years. Thank you, merci en pile, and to our listeners and followers, messieurs, moi maison en pile. Because you all are the reason why we do this every day from 2 o'clock to 4 p.m. Every day. If one day we are not on, so we do this again and again every day as we remember the voices of those who have left us, our elders who continue to speak Creole, celebrate Creole, promote Creole, preserve Creole, and to the youth, because we are our mission here is to continue to provide and create a space for them. Some of the elders will pass, will leave us, but the new generation will come, will follow, and they are the ones who have to continue to make Creole thrive and to celebrate Creole. So that's it. Thank you again, Mr. Curtis Matthew. Thank you to DBS staff who continue to be good people. Thank you so much. And congratulations to all the other awardees. And thank you again. Merci Apil.
Thank you, Kaywana, Fontaine, Wilson. You have really revolutionized Creole in Dominica and taken it to the social media platforms in grand style. Curtis Matthew gave me a job to write all the citations. I spoke to the staff members one-on-one for just a short period, more or less to find out what year they came to DBS Radio, because of course we are like family, and I've worked with all of them for so many years, so I just know what to write. But the person who is going to receive this award right now, there was a point when I was writing his citation, I felt the tears, and I guess when I read it you'll understand why. Gavin Richards. The name Gavin Richards has become synonymous with sports broadcasting. But Gavin Richards is much more than a sports broadcaster. The son of a prominent journalist, Peter Richards, Gavin, who came to DBS Radio in 2015, understands his assignments. Having served as a liaison officer for several sporting disciplines in and out of Dominica, and sending reports even while on a flight or in a hotel room or on a busy street, Gavin Richards always exercises professionalism. To do this for many years, being present at cricket games, basketball, football, athletics, cycling, rounders, and more, prepared Gavin Richards for bigger things. The pinnacle of his career came in the summer of 2024, that was last year. The Olympics was on, and Dominica had representation. Gavin Richards could easily be Dominica's sports journalist for such a big occasion. He was called up and he accepted with a sense of pride and dignity. Gavin Richards realized that he had to report to the country in quick time at every event, and this he did remarkably. What sealed the deal, though, was when Theolafo Gatson, and that's where the tears came, when Theolafo Gatson jumped away to gold. It was the first time that this small island developing state had risen to athletic supremacy at that level. The very first time that a medal was pinned on a Dominican athlete at the Olympic Games. And here it comes now. Gavin Richards, visibly emotional, called DBS radio on that Saturday before Thea jumped. He knew that Thea's jump should be live on radio. A nation was united for that moment when Thea jumped. Gavin ensured that other voices would be heard, to include Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit and President of the Dominican Olympic Committee, Billy Doctrove. Comprehensive reports, analysis, a weekly Sports of the Field program, commentary of cricket matches, football, basketball, cycling, netball, volleyball, athletics, rounders, and more. Gavin is always there. Gavin will get the job done. DBS Radio is pleased, and as I say that, I remember when Curtis Matthew spoke to me, and Curtis Matthew was organizing this, and Curtis said, I have to recognize Gavin some way, somehow. That was not the first time I heard that, obviously. The very day that Theolafo jumped, and when we realized what Gavin had done, Curtis Matthew said, I have to recognize Gavin Richards. It is with pride that we recognize Gavin Richards for excellence in sports journalism.
Well, good morning, everyone. I must say I'm very emotional right now. I didn't anticipate such a lovely citation from Ivona. But before I even say anything, I just want to thank God for giving me the health and strength to do what I do on a daily basis. I also like to thank my wife, Natisa Richards, the rest of my family, Jalen and Paris Richards, because it takes a lot to do what I do, and it takes me away from them for long periods of time. And they have always stood by my side to support my dreams. And without them, I wouldn't be here this morning. So I say thank you to them. I also like to thank Sir Ron Abraham, because he's the one that got me into the whole field of journalism a few years ago when I was with Mapping Telecoms. And he taught me some values that I carry on with me every day. Also like to acknowledge Mr. Curtis Matthew. I mean, he's gotten a lot of recognition today, but I don't think a lot of people understand that the role that Mr. Matthew has played in getting me here where I am as well. When you talk about battles, Mr. Matthew is like a soldier that you can count on, a soldier that will stand for you, die with his boots on in support. And I've been through a lot of battles, a lot of journeys, and Mr. Matthew has always stood by my side. Always. Always guiding me on, always encouraging me, and always telling me, regardless of what's going on, just go out there and do your best. He'll always stand by me. So I'd like to thank Mr. Matthew for that. Also like to thank Mr. Billy Doctrove, Mr. Glenn Etienne, Mr. Gerald George. I mean, the list goes on in terms of the administrators in sports that have put me in this sort of position. They've seen the work that I've done at DBS, but it also took a lot from them to give me the opportunity to go out and represent Dominica. Like I always tell people, I've always wanted to represent Dominica in sports, but I wasn't the best sportsman, but I got an opportunity to do so in media. So I'd like to thank all of those for that. And of course, the sportsmen and sportswomen, because without them, I would have nothing to report on. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to report on your successes and your stories and share it with the rest of Dominica. There's so much more that I would want to say, but I don't want to take too much time. But before I go, I just want to also acknowledge some people who have gone to the great beyond. Mr. Tom Laffour and Mr. Pat Stevens, two gentlemen who really guided me along my way when I started off a few years ago. Also to my mom, who's not here, but I know she's always smiling down on me. I remember when I got to the Olympics the first time, I broke down, but I just knew that she was watching from above. So your son made it, and your son still has a lot more to go. So thank you, everyone, and I will always continue to keep on doing my best for DBS Radio. Like I always said, when I walked through the doors of DBS Radio, I knew that DBS was the pinnacle of broadcasting, not just in Dominica, but the entire OECS, the Caribbean, I would dare say too. And I'm just happy that I'm able to play my part in keeping DBS on top as the #1 broadcaster in the Caribbean. And he would kill me if I didn't recognize him as well. My dad as well, sorry. Yeah, you'd write a story on me, but yeah, Dad, thank you as well. That's my father, Peter Richards. I know he's watching and he's always saying I'm waiting, but yeah, thank you, everyone.
Many moving stories. And so put your hands together for all the awardees. Before we get the vote of thanks, I want to call all the awardees to just come forward. Those who even receive on the just come forward, please. Just come forward. You can hold your awards if you please when you come in. Yeah, hold your awards before we come to the vote of thanks. I just want all the awardees. Yeah. Yes. Before Leila gives a. Right. So these are awards for DBS Radio. 319 years standing by my side. 319 years. But to me, there is a little more than 319 years. There's a whole. So what I want to do is to add to that 319 years for your long and outstanding contribution to broadcasting. The King Dice of broadcasting. The Fear Lafogatson of broadcasting. The Muhammad Ali of broadcasting. The Pope representative of broadcasting. The Gordon Henderson of broadcasting. And of course, a man who remembers where he came from. He would have been in Timbuktu, but he remembers where he came from. 38 years of outstanding service to have brought this to where it is today. DBS Radio is proud. The staff of DBS Radio is elated to present to Curtis Matthew. 38 years.
Come and cry.
Now, there are many hands, and it's going to pass through. It's going to pass through the hands. Pass through the hands. Pass through all the hands and make it reach to Curtis. Pass it all through the hands of your hands, because you all have. Pass it all through the hands. Pass it all through the hands. Curtis Matthew, receive your award. 38 years. Let's all stand and give him a standing ovation. 38 years. Now is your turn. You can go back to your seat now, but Curtis here, come and say a few words. So before the vote of thanks, we're going to give the official citation, and then we have the new star who's going to take DBS to the next 50 years, God willing.
It would be remiss of me not to write a citation for someone who has done so much for me in broadcasting, because of course I started with Curtis Matthew, and we continued together. We have done so much together. These days he will come into my office with his hands in his pocket with a bounce that is Curtis is well known for. Ivona, we have something else to do. Curtis Felix Matthew started his career in broadcasting in 1986 when he got accepted to work at DBS Radio. At that time, this young and energetic man from Monjon had graduated from high school, and I look at his sister and I know they are very, very close, and that's touching. But Curtis had graduated from high school, and his efforts to join the Dominica Police Force did not find favor with the selectors. In fact, they said the story remains that he was too short. He was too short to be a policeman. This probably was a blessing in disguise, and in fact it is a blessing in disguise, because Curtis Matthew brought a level of professionalism and commitment to the job as a sports reporter that was second to none. In those days, the broadcast equipment was not user-friendly, and getting to the various venues for scores and interviews was a major challenge. There were no cell phones at that time when Curtis started his career, and the youngster, as he is affectionately called, never complained. He became sports editor some years after and brought on exciting sports programs, commentary, reports, interviews, and more. Curtis was selected to represent Dominica at the Olympic Games in Atlanta in 1996. And it was the very first time that Dominica had gone to the Olympics. This was a historic occasion, not just for Dominica, but for DBS Radio, because Curtis was always well loved at DBS Radio. In fact, he received a hero's welcome on his return. Story has it as well, and Curtis told us that. I think Curtis had gone to Holland on a media course, and Curtis ended up playing cricket. And Curtis scored over 200 runs. Well, that's, I don't know, but Curtis scored over 200 runs. But Curtis was also known as the party animal at DBS Radio. Yes, Ronaldo. Yes, Curtis was a party animal. He loved to party. Party animal. And Stephen, you know that all too well, because Curtis hosted a Saturday night party as well for many years. He did this for many years. And I know Curtis is saying in his mind, why is she not stopping? I tried to make it very short, but I'll continue. Curtis Matthew is the current news editor, and he is rightly regarded as the hardest working journalist. Curtis did not let advancements in technology take away from his willingness or his need to go the extra mile. No. Curtis does not create shortcuts. Curtis knows what it is to go after a story and get the story. He's also acting now in the capacity of manager at DBS Radio, and he has done a lot in this position. What a wonderful person to work with, Curtis Matthew. Kaywana, I know you'll agree. Very close to Leroy Wadix Charles. And he would come in his office, in my office, with his hands in his pocket and say, why wouldn't I have to recognize Wadix there? Wadix is one of the people I have to recognize. And then he would just quietly go back, with his bounce. That's Curtis. He has style, he has a flair, he has, confidence, and that's very good. Yes, Kwa Movement. Curtis Matthew, it is really our pleasure to recognize you for your contribution, for your dedicated service, not just to DBS Radio. You received the Meritorious Service Award and many awards as well. But this one for us is very special. We recognize you, Curtis Matthew.
You know, whilst they were saying that there, Curtis, I'm trying to picture you outside Fort Young, not as a media person, as a police officer. In riot gear, trying to stop MO News. You know, you could imagine Officer Matthew come to you and he telling you, you have to advance. I want to see that, Curtis. Yeah. But I've known Curtis for not, I mean, we raised up in goodwill all my life, you know, the family and stuff like that. And then Curtis met me and he had the same thing had been happening there. Curtis always used to meet and say, boy, I want to recognize the staff at DBS. He wasn't manager yet. He didn't even know he was going to be acting manager. So here is a man who had had a dream all in his heart and his mind. And he was able to see it come through today. And like all the other sponsors, we are very happy that we could be part of this because it's very meaningful. Now, I want everybody to understand that we have gifts and talents. Curtis' gifts and talents are different from anybody else who have been manager of DBS Radio. Curtis' gifts and talents are different from anyone who has read the news or been a sports personality. I have my own special gifts, my own special talents. I have moved from being a party animal. I have moved from the man who go on stage in a diaper. I have moved from the man who helped to basketball. And I accept each role as I go along and see who's better than me. And now I'm working for the kingdom of God. So Curtis, it's not too much for you for what's happening to you. That is your destiny. God has ordained that for you to do. And let no weapon formed against you be found. Always believe in your God, because I know you believe in God. And always go on your knees. And I think because you pray a lot, that's why you're able to do this. And that's why God has sent you. Every man who has a belief and faith in God has a wife by his side who God has sent. So continue for your wife to be in that man. We'll continue to support you and give you the praise. The future of DBS Radio is coming right now. Stay tuned to your dial. Don't remove it. We are live at DBS Radio 24 hours a day. And of course, we are on the frequencies 88.1 and 9.5. Keep it locked. Boston Knob, Little Lanford will give you the vote of thanks.
Chairman of the Board of Directors of DBS Radio, Dr. Damian Dublin. Other board members, Acting Manager of DBS Radio, Curtis Matthew. Esteemed sponsors, I'm going to take this again. Acting Manager of DBS Radio, Curtis Matthew. And my very dedicated supervisor, news editor, Curtis Matthew. Esteemed sponsors, distinguished guests, colleagues, management and staff of DBS Radio, well-wishers, our wonderful awardees gathered here today, good morning. It is often said that the only way to do great work is to do what you love. Steve Jobs. I am honored to deliver the vote of thanks on this special occasion as we celebrate the dedication, commitment, and incredible journeys of our esteemed colleagues who have devoted many years of their lives to this institution. First and foremost, I would want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to all the awardees. Your unwavering loyalty and hard work have been the backbone of our success. Your passion and determination inspire us all, and today's ceremony is a testament to your remarkable contributions. A special thank you goes to our management team, the organizers who planned this event. Your efforts behind the scenes have made this celebration truly memorable. We are also deeply grateful to the families of our awardees. Your support, encouragement have been vital in enabling our colleagues to achieve these milestones. We would like to thank our deepest gratitude to our generous sponsors, Bullseye Pharmacy, Alvin Anthony of Kubuli Contractors Limited in the United States, represented by Julian Jeffers, Big Edge Financial, Fort Young Hotel, and the Sangman, whose unwavering support has been instrumental in making this event possible. Your partnership has not only provided the necessary resources, but also inspired us to strive for excellence. Thank you for believing in our vision and standing with us every step of the way. To our guests, friends, and colleagues present here today, your presence adds warmth and significance to this occasion. Thank you for taking the time out to join us in honoring these incredible individuals. Finally, let us remember that long service is not just about the number of years, but about the passion, dedication, and love for what we do. May this ceremony inspire us all to continue striving for excellence and to cherish the bonds we build along the way. Special thanks again to the chairman of the board, Dr. Damian Dublin, acting manager Curtis Matthew, accountant Peter Dominic for the prayer, and Val Coffey, masters of ceremonies. Thank you once again and have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much, Leila. And we want to thank you officially. Thank you for being here, our media ladies here, everybody. It's Matthew, right? We have some lights and refreshments for you. You want to take a group picture? All right. They like to take a group picture with the media, if everybody around the head table there. So if you could come forward. All the awardees. All the awardees. Yeah. Thank you very much. You can share with the refreshments at the back. Thanks.